I tried to tell Alabama, live it up against Oklahoma. Ty Simpson, get it in your post-game press conference like you did. Tell everybody you thought you got 85 good players over there. Tell all the media that doubted you how wrong they were. But that's not Oklahoma you're playing in the Rose Bowl. That's Indiana. And that has come to mean something entirely different in 2025. What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year-round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button. Like this video. Answer the question in the comments below. Did you expect Indiana to stop a mud hole and walk it dry in this thing called the Alabama Crimson Tide? I feel like we need to say what feels like obvious to you, but doesn't exactly feel obvious when you say it out loud. Look, it's not just that Indiana playing in the Rose Bowl. It's that Indiana is playing in the Rose Bowl against Alabama, and Indiana is the number 1 team, and Alabama is the number 9 team. This also marks the first bowl win of any kind for Indiana since 1991 in the Copper Bowl. The transfer portal, name, image, likeness, all these things that people claim to hate have led to the creation of an absolute monster in Bloomington, Indiana, and it is what was the losingest football program in college football until quite literally halfway through the 2025 season, and they are undefeated, and they are destroying everybody they play. Look, the Fernando Mendoza Heisman conversation. Yeah, all right, cool, bet. I mean, my man didn't need to throw for more than 154 yards, still had a QBR passer rating of 238 because he threw 3 TDs. They're running on everybody. And I think it's important to really just look at their blocking scheme. Because if you are new to Indiana football, or even if you're just not paying attention to the line of scrimmage like some nerds like myself are, you might be lulled into thinking they're running some sort of offensive line blocking scheme that nobody else has, that seems innovative, that seems like it's going to push the edge of what college football or football can be in this new modern era. You would be mistaken. What that offensive line does better than anybody else in the country is execute their friggin' blocks. They don't miss the guy they're supposed to block. When they're supposed to just get a hand on and get to the second level, they get a hand on and get to the second level. When I see the center and the guard pull, I'm going, oh my God, we're going back to high school football. You know, look, it used to be a rare thing to see a center on a pulling play. You know, he snaps the ball and then usually got somebody that's coming up the middle. It used to be Jeremiah Trotter types that would just spew up. You didn't have no nose up there. You didn't have any you weren't running a bare front. You were absolutely going to send a middle linebacker or two just to go pummel the center. But now that people don't really do that as often, and frankly, you don't see a whole lot of centers pulling, I still got to marvel at the execution because them boys get out and in front, and there is an absolute curtain for Kalen Black and Roman Hemby to run behind. And it is so much fun to watch because they execute it so well. It is fundamental block and tackle clinical football. Now, defensively, they're also on something different. Now, they run a too high shell because they can. Let me back up here. If I'm a quarterback, and that's me, I'm a quarterback. I love seeing a too high shell. I love seeing a too high shell because it means that I usually have a light box, and because I got a light box, I'll be able to run into that, or more importantly, I can split the safeties. But because Indiana is so good at getting home with its front four, and when it sends its backers, it sends them in delays and not necessarily from the spaces where they're standing. Like if I see them in a wide 9, and then I look over and that dude is just inside my tackle, that is absolutely just changed the picture for me because now I got to replace a receiver where I thought a receiver was not going to be open. It's little stuff, right? It feels little, but it is absolutely making you process a little bit more. And this is complicated by Ty Simpson, as we all know, not having a run game. But the problem with having a quarterback that's got to throw the football like Ty Simpson has had to throw the football, at least in the last 3 games, is that he's going to get hit. And in this game against Indiana, he got smashed. And because he got smashed in the third quarter, we get to see Austin Mack at a time when I'm not sure a whole lot of people want to see Austin Mack. But it needs to be said, Ty Simpson did complete passes when he threw them, 12 of 16. They just didn't go nowhere, dog. They went for 67 yards passing with Ty Simpson at quarterback. I mean, you get 7 attempts of the first 7 attempts for Austin Mack, and get 46 yards. It felt like a good drive. They actually go score on that drive to make something into 24-3, as that was 24-0. Like when they're 17 down at halftime, I'm sure there's some Tide fan who will not out himself in the comments tonight because he's not that ridiculous. But you know there was some Tide fan somewhere that was like, nah, we did this against Oklahoma. And with all my heart, nah, dog, that ain't Oklahoma over there. They don't give back leads. Fernando don't throw pick sixes like that unless you're Oregon. Are you Oregon? Doesn't look like you Oregon. I just watched Oregon stop a mud hole in Texas Tech. Unless Alabama turned into Oregon after halftime, which they did not, it still was going to be uphill. And by, 10 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, it's 38-3. We're on to the Sugar Bowl. We're already on to Ole Miss in Georgia because Indiana took the college football playoff bye curse and decided, yeah, that's for everybody else. That's not for us. Every other team that is playing the 12-team format that had a first-round bye had taken a loss. And the last 2 were devastating, right? Miami bullied Ohio State. Oregon shut out Texas Tech. And then people are like, you know what? I'm feeling it with Bama. I'm feeling it. They can do this. That's not Nick Saban over there. That's Kalen DeBoer. And only one of these 2 coaches on his head coaches on these sidelines has been on Nick Saban's staff. And it ain't Kalen DeBoer. It ain't Kalen DeBoer. It's that dude Signetti, who's just been stomping mud holes at people over and over again. And again, they're able to run the football and run the football and run the football. So Fernando ain't got to do much back. The thing that I thought Kane Womack was going to do, that he seemed to do at the start, was come after Fernando. Because whenever you've been able to bring it back to a ball game, like what Iowa was able to do, right? What Ohio State was able to do, you've been able to get to Fernando Mendoza and put him on the ground. And you know what? In that respect, they got there. They got home 3 times. 2 in the first 3 plays of the game. And then, it's like Mike Shanahan said, enough of that. Let's just go to the quick game. I know how much we hate the quick game, but we're going to go to quick game. And once quick game started to work, Kane Womack started to have to bring more players back into coverage. Guess what else we get to do? We get that light box again because Kane Womack don't like bringing down the safety. He likes his 2-high shell. Cool. We'll just run at you and run at you and run at you and run at you. I mean, we're talking about, again, over 200 yards rushing for Indiana, which is ho-hum for them, by the way. But that is a gaudy number, especially knowing that you're able to do it at will with a dude from James Madison and a dude from Maryland. Like, I'm a big Roman Hemby fan. I was late on the Kalen Black train because when James Madison started to get good, Kurt Signetti was still there. But again, it's just a bunch of dudes like that. I mean, the TD comes from a dude that's been hurt the last 3 weeks in Omar Cooper. And it's not as if Alabama ain't got dudes. Like A.J. McCarron out here saying Alabama got the best wide receiver core in the college football playoff 1 through 6. Okay. I don't share that opinion. I don't share that opinion. However, do you believe that Indiana has the best secondary in college football? I don't share that opinion either. So what does that say about the strength of Alabama in 2025?